You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down, guys? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, Studio McGyver, and you are listening to Studio McGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Today, guys, I want to talk about a few things. A lot of things has happened in the past week. If you're new to the podcast, if you're into nerd culture, if you're into anime, then we talk about all of that shit here and more. So with that being said, guys, let's begin the show. I'm going to talk a little bit about CyberPunk 2077. Yes, there's some news, and a lot of you probably have already heard. I'm going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about Resident Evil 8. There's also some Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village news to talk about. That one could possibly be a stinger as well. Just depends on what side on the gaming spectrum you're on. We're also going to jump into basically my first few hours playing The Last of Us 2, and I cannot wait to talk about that. Also, EA had a game event. I think it was called EA Play Live, and they basically gave you a rundown on some of their games. We're going to talk about that as well. My Last of Us 2 story. Going to also talk about that. Basically, the hoops that I had to jump through, the things that happened to me, just talking about The Last of Us 2, man, how anxious I was to play and the reason why Amazon kind of pissed me off. But we're going to get into all of that, guys. But anyway, just to give you guys a heads up, next week's podcast is going to be a Last of Us special, if you will. So basically that whole episode is basically going to be just me talking about The Last of Us 2, my experience with it. I guess you can call it a review, but I don't technically call myself a reviewer. I just consider myself a player, and I'll just give you my thoughts on the game. And by then, if you haven't played it, and if you don't want any spoilers, then you probably want to avoid that podcast. But if you really wanted to play the game, you probably watch somebody play it, or you probably would have played it by then. So I'll have finished the game by next week, and I'll be able to really, get into everything about the game. So just giving you a heads up, that'll be the show for the following week. So be looking forward to that. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about some news. Let's just get this news out the fucking way. And it's CyberPunk. Okay. If you guys don't know, CyberPunk was slated for September, and that has been fucking changed. All right. They have delayed the game to fucking November. Okay. November 19th to be exact. Now, they stated that the reason why they did this is because they just want to give everybody the optimal experience. Now, let me say this. As a fan, as somebody who really wants to play this game, I'm a big fan of CD Projekt Red as far as The Witcher and just the quality that they put into all of their stuff. Everything is pristine with these guys. This is probably one of the only game companies who could probably delay a game, a few times, maybe even more, and I would not even be mad. Okay. Would I be disappointed because of the release date? Of course. But other than that, no, I wouldn't be, because I know that these guys are not saying that for the sake of saying it. They're saying it because, look, we want to make sure we got every fucking piece, every little thing, done as well as we can get it done for you guys. We want to make it as pristine as possible. We want the experience to be just excellent for you. And that's cool. They also stated that the game is done. I mean, pretty much the game's complete. It's virtually playable. It's basically, you could go in there right now and play it from beginning to end. All the quests, all those things are done for the game. It could technically, if they were like a shitty company, you know what I mean? Like some of these companies out here, they could say, okay, let's put it out now, and then, work on patches and all that shit, for the foreseeable future. But they're not. They want to put everything out that they possibly can, and they want to make sure that it's, when it does come out, it's completely ready. That's what I want. And if you know who CD Projekt Red is, then it shouldn't be any argument when it comes to that. They're basically just saying that we're going to comb over everything. We're going to make sure that there's no bugs. We're going to do every mission. We're going to do it backwards. We're going to make sure that there's no way that it would fuck up or break up your experience. They want everything to be as seamless as possible. And I commend them guys for that. Now, there have been some hate. Okay. There's a lot of people out here who were so mad that they were saying, oh, I'm done with my pre-order. I'm finished. This is just some bullshit. And to that, I say this. Number one, you're lying. Okay. Let's not play lollipop games. Let's not lie to ourselves. Okay, guys, if you're that upset that you would write that you're going to cancel your pre-order, then you're going to play the shit. Okay. You're going to play the shit. You're going to say that to yourself up until the release. Then you're going to go back and pre-order it, or you're just never going to not pre-order it. And you're just saying that out of anger and anguish. That's it. Like a lot of these motherfuckers are doing, about, talking about The Last of Us 2. And I'll get into that a little later. But anyway, yeah, I mean, why cancel the game? Because they have to make it better. They want to make it better for you. That's all I'm saying. I understand the disappointment, but don't say that you're going to cancel your fucking pre-order. You're not going to buy the game. Stop it. Just stop it. Anyway, that's the news on CyberPunk 2077. Anything else comes up, I'll definitely let you guys know, because this is a game that I personally am anticipating. I want to play it. So yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next subject. And the next subject, guys, will be Resident Evil 8. Yes, Resident Evil 8, man. Resident Evil 8 has basically said that they are going to cancel the games for PS4 and Xbox One. It was supposed to be released on, all platforms, but they have decided to go in the direction of the next gen console. And the reason that they are claiming this is because of the fucking load times. Now, they said that the load times would be extremely fucking long if they tried to keep it on the other systems. Basically, their hands are tied behind their back. Okay. Because the new Resident Evil engine that they have, has basically been progressing in ways that, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One just can't handle anymore. And if they did put it out, I mean, we'd be sitting there, we can go get a meal. We can go, run to drive-through, grab a burger, some fries, and a soft drink, drive home, sit down, eat it, and the game would still be loading. So basically, they want to avoid all that, because that definitely would kill the vibe. I mean, extremely long load times definitely take you out of the immersion of a game. You know what I mean? You get easily distracted again, takes you out of your element and all of that. So yeah, I could definitely understand that. And like I said, you can't make it as good as you want it to be if your hands are tied like that. Now, I understand trying to look out for everybody who still has, last gen systems, because let's keep it real. I mean, millions and millions of people will not be buying the next gen consoles anytime soon. A lot of people are going to wait a year, 2 years before, they decide to either have the money or, games are out that they actually, are interested in. And that's kind of how I felt, on last gen. When I had the PS3 and then the PS4 came out, I didn't get a PS4 till a year and a half later, because when the PS4 came out, it really had no games. Okay. It had nothing I wanted to play at first. I was waiting for those titles to make me say, ooh, I really need this game. And then when those started to come out, that's when I decided to get a PS4. And the difference between that gen and next gen is the fact that they're games that are coming out on, launch of the fucking PS5. So I have to have it. Plus it's backwards compatible, and I can play my PS4 games on it. That's really why I'm getting it. I mean, 100%. If they had no games, no release games, date games like coming out on the day, I don't know if I would be ready to buy that then. You know what I mean? Even with the backwards compatibility of the games. So that can be up for discussion. I'd probably still end up doing it because of that. It would just be enough. But adding games to that makes it, just that much better, that they're going to be there. And now with this delay going back on, if you want to go back on CyberPunk, look, November, that's going to be basically, the release of the next gen or close to it. So if they come out with a version for the PS5 or for the new Xbox, then, you probably want to wait and go there. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I would do. As bad as I want to play Cyberpunk 2077, if there's going to be a PlayStation 5 version, I'm going to jump on that first. Or even if it's an optimized version, you know what I mean? So I don't know. You could get it for the PlayStation 4, and then you could basically play it more optimized on the PS5. You could do it that way as well, I'm guessing. But I don't know. We'll get more news on that, and as it comes, I'll definitely let you guys know. But on the Resident Evil 8 thing, yeah, man. I mean, I totally understand that, and that's just what you have to do. If you can't get everything you need to get in there done, then you just have to move on. It's time, And I'm interested in this game for the simple fact that Chris Redfield is in this game. Man, he looks like he's going to be playing a villain of some sort or something in this game, man. I don't know. It's got me interested. I'm wondering if Umbrella turned him in some shape, form, or fashion. I mean, that's definitely going to be interesting. That story arc sounds kind of good, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I definitely want to know more about that as it comes out. So I'll be keeping you guys posted. But yeah, Resident Evil 8 will just be next gen. So get ready for that. Next thing I want to talk about is EA. EA and what they have, I guess, brought to the table, if you will, what they have to show. What did they have to show at the EA live event that they had recently? They had a handful of games that they showed. And you know what? While I'm on the subject, I mean, it's crazy, but I think this is where the future is going as far as, companies now. Like, I think E3 and those days are pretty much dead, are pretty much going to be non-existent moving forward, man. I mean, if they are still, in effect, it'll be definitely at a limited capacity, because more and more now with the technology and everything, you can literally just have your own show at your fucking house if you want to. You know what I mean? You just have the footage, have the, what you want to show the audience and the fans, and there you go. There you have it. I mean, EA's done it. PlayStation's done it now. Nintendo has been doing it. Nintendo Directs, and it's Xbox is doing it. Everybody's doing their own thing. And now you have publishers that are doing their own fucking thing. Okay. You have EA, which is a publishing company who's having their own fucking live events going on, telling you what games they are coming out with. So that's crazy now, because if you have a favorite publisher or a company that you like really, are into or whatever, then you can just focus on them. Those are the games, whatever. It's crazy, but that's where it's headed. Everybody's doing their own thing, getting their own piece of the pie, so to speak. So, hey, even though EA, I'm not really fond of EA as a company. I mean, a lot of us can probably attest to that behind their practices, a lot of the things that they do, all of the sake that they drink, all of the endo that they smoke in their boardrooms. But every once in a while, they come out with something. I mean, like Apex Legends, for instance, that came out of nowhere, really. Free to play game. It's really a fun concept behind it. I'm really not a multiplayer shooter type of guy, but I can acknowledge how good it is. I know a good game when I see one, so to speak. Even if it's not my genre, I can definitely tell that, that game is definitely good, and it deserves high praise. So I just want to get a little bit into what they announced. Now, I'm not going to name everything because, like I said, me and EA have never been friends. But, I have to pay homage to some of these games, at least, let you guys know what's coming. And the first game I want to talk about is Star Wars Squadrons. Okay. It's going to be a $40 game. Okay. And when I first saw this, man, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not. I got a little queasy because EA and Star Wars multiplayer, when you mix that up, it turns into boo-boo. It turns into piss. It turns into a lot of those things, and that's a taste that, leaves in your mouth. Now, have they came back, had some comeback stories? Yes, they have with, the last Star Wars multiplayer game. Yes, it started out kind of shit, and then they built upon it. And it's actually a pretty good game. I had some fun playing that. When you're talking about Star Wars Squadrons, you're talking about a game basically based on flight, pilots, air fighters, if you will. And, that aspect is my least favorite aspect, and was my least favorite aspect of that Star Wars game. I don't know if it was just a combination of controls or I just never got into those flight simulating type of games. Unless you're talking about like the arcade, you know what I'm saying, shooters or whatever. But other than that, nah, I haven't really, been looking for this. Will it appeal to some people, some fans? Of course it will. There are a lot of fans out there who are into those games and who are definitely big Star Wars fans. So being able to play that is probably their wet dream. I mean, one man's trash is definitely another man's treasure. Just because I don't like something or you don't like something doesn't mean that there's other people out there who feel the same. Everybody else feels the same way, basically. There's always going to be somebody who likes something. It could be as minute as a roach simulator. It could be a game called Roach, and it could be, different cockroaches just running around somebody's house, and somebody will create a fan page, and there will be people who will play this game, and there will be people who will roast you if you talk down on the game. I mean, that's how crazy it is. But I mean, I actually like the fact that that's a thing, that there's something out there for everybody. And just because I don't like it or it doesn't resonate with me doesn't mean that somebody else, would love this game, So I have to look at it like that, through that lens, because, nobody is above anything, if you ask me. And, I try not to shit on games unless they really, really deserve it. But even then, you still have to respect that there are other people out there who are gonna love this game, gonna want to play the shit. But yeah, Star Wars Squadrons is a game that, like I said, $40 price range. I'm wondering why it's not charging full price. Maybe because they're trying to, get that other 20 from you online. You know how EA does. In multiplayer games, there will be microtransactions. Let's keep it real with each other. Okay, this is not going to be a game that it's just buy it and play it and that's it. It's not happening. Okay. Number one, they have a server that everybody's playing on, so they're going to find a way to get the money for that. They're also, like I said, EA. We know EA, man. When I think of EA, I think just money hungry. That's the same thing. They go together. But hey, it is what it is. A lot of you guys will enjoy it. And if that's what it is, then hey, I can't hate that. But moving on to the next game, Sims 4. Now, I was never a big Sims fan. Okay. It's a cool concept and all of that. And there are some big Sims fans. I got a friend who loves like the Sims, man, loves the fucking Sims to death. Okay. And hey, more power to him. You know what I mean? He was excited for this shit. And I don't know much about the Sims, but it's something that, I'm not going to be playing. So I'm not even going to worry about it. But that's here nor there. We'll leave it at that. If I had more to talk about, I would definitely tell you guys, but I don't. So I'm going to move on to the next game, and let's talk about Apex Legends. All right. Now, Apex Legends has a huge update. They got some shit going on. They got some shit popping. And, I'm kind of happy for Apex Legends. I really am. I mean, they have grown. They just came out of nowhere and kind of lit the multiplayer world on fire. And when I'm talking about Apex Legends, man, with games like Halo and all this stuff coming out, man, I mean, there's a very few games now that multiplayer shooters that rival Apex Legends, in my opinion. And I can't believe I'm praising an EA game, an EA multiplayer game. But, I kind of have to, you have to call it how you see it. And that's what I'm seeing with this title, at least. Yes, are there microtransactions? Yes. I mean, are there, but as a standalone game, if you didn't want to spend any money, you could still do the things you need to do with this title. But they have a huge update. I don't know much about it, but I'm sure all the Apex players out there will be excited to play this. I don't have a date, but it is on the way. It is coming soon. That's one of the things EA shown. So, I hope that you guys are looking forward to that if you are an Apex Legends fan. Also, let's talk about how the Switch is trying to make some moves when it comes to Apex Legends as well, because apparently the fall, they will be having Apex Legends on the Switch, and it's going to be fucking crossplay. So basically everybody's sharing the same server, and that's awesome. I think that if more multiplayer games did this, I think that'd be awesome. I think Fortnite does it. There are a few other games that do it. I think Warframe does it as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, crossplay. So basically any system, PC, fucking Nintendo, PlayStation, whatever, they're all on the same server, because that makes it for more entertaining, because you have, the servers will never get old. They'll always be popping. and you can always get a game, number one, and it just makes it, if everybody's playing it, then that audience, that community is that much better for it. You know what I mean? The bigger the community, the more games, the more people can, chime in and, change the course of, how people create these games. If you got a lot of people saying, well, hey, we want this in the game, believe me, people have the power to do these things. All right. If they want change, it can be done if enough people get behind it. I think we can all attest to that, especially what's going on right now in the world today. But you get enough, leverage, you can make a developer, give you what you actually want. Sometimes, more times than not, as we move forward. But that is a cool thing. You know what I mean? Because everybody doesn't have every system. And, they may have just one, and you want to be able to play with everybody. And then the cool thing also about that cross play shit is that you can, if they have their own server, then you don't have to worry about if you're a Switch owner, well, damn, they don't have, chat. You can't chat with your friends or whatever. So with this server, you can actually do that. You can have a friend that has an Xbox and you have a Switch, and you can literally talk to them on a microphone, like as you would, on a PlayStation 4 party or Xbox party. So that's cool as well. So you get a lot, out of the crossplay thing. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, seeing how people feel about that as the fall gets here and what they do with that. Now, moving on to the next game. There's a game that was announced. It was called Lost in Random. This game is kind of interesting, man. It looks like it's a beautifully animated game. It looks like an adventure kind of action single player experience. You're this person and this girl, and basically you have, I think it's a girl. Is it? Don't let me get to lying. Anyway, but there's just dice. Okay, that comes to life. It's like basically like how you roll dice or whatever. This thing has a life of its own, and there's more to it than that. I definitely recommend. This one's hard to even explain. If that makes any sense. The game's called Lost in Random. Definitely check that out. Google it. Check out the trailer on YouTube. See if you like it or not. Another game that's not out. It's been announced is Skate 4. Now, a lot of skater fans will definitely love this game. The only one I really fucked with was the old Tony Hawk games, but this should be something for fans to definitely be excited about. If you're a skating simulator fan, definitely check out Skate 4. That's been announced, so it is real. A lot of people thought it wasn't going to happen, but it is. It's here. So definitely, that's another game they announced. And hopefully the microtransactions aren't very obese, but we're talking about EA here, so we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. Now, the last game I want to talk about isn't really a fucking game. All right. Everybody was talking about how Dragon Age 4 is going to be, showing up at this event. That did not happen. All they gave us was a fucking image of a fucking tree. And that's about it, man. We got no confirmation on what it is, what it was. It just says it is in development. Okay. Most people have assumed that this is going to be the new Dragon Age game, but I don't know. We'll have to, I guess, find out and see. And yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that. That's the game I was looking forward to seeing. And I thought we were going to get a trailer of some sort, any kind of confirmation, but we did not get that. And, they're still apparently working on it. I thought that was kind of trash. They should have just tweeted that or some shit. If you ask me, they try to hype that all up like, stop it. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, man, EA, their event was average at best, in my opinion. Not looking forward to really anything on this list personally that I want to play. The only game, if I had to pick one on here, would be Dragon Age 4, but we don't even know if that's what's going on with that. So until I know that, this is it, that's really the only game from EA I'm looking forward to playing, that I would buy day one type of thing. Now, this Lost in Random game, I could definitely see myself playing it. I don't know day one though, but that's where I stand on that. I mean, maybe you guys see something on here that you are excited for and can't wait to play, and more power to you for that, if that's what you want. Now, we're at the end of this podcast, and I just want to talk about, The Last of Us 2. If you guys don't know, yes, the game is out now, and it came out Friday, and everybody has been playing it. A lot of people have been hating on it. Twitter is like stupid crazy right now on the division of this game. Is definitely going to be split. One thing that, most people cannot deny, even the people that are hating on the game, is how beautiful the game looks and how fun it is to play the game. Most people who are basically bitching about the game or who don't like the game are going to be talking about the story aspects of the game. And I'm not going to say anything because I still don't want to spoil it I'm not going to talk about it like that until next week's podcast, where I talk about everything. I want to tell you a little story of how I even got my hands on this game and how Amazon did me, man. Okay. Basically, I was so anxious to play this game. I decided, okay, I had to pre-order at GameStop, number one. Okay. But GameStop, which was crazy because, a couple of weeks prior, the manager at GameStop told me, well, we're going to probably just release these early. As soon as we get them in, they're going to just let us, start giving them out because of the coronavirus and all of that. And that way we don't have to do a midnight release and we can avoid these big crowds. So we can just call people and say, hey, you can come get it right now. So I was thinking, okay, I'm excited. I might get it early. That never happened. GameStop basically told me, yeah, we're not having a midnight release. We're not giving it out a day before. You have to come in and get it when we're open Friday, and that's it. And we don't open till 12 noon because of the coronavirus, which they used to open at 10 a.m. Now they open at fucking noon. So I was like, damn. So I had to wait till Friday at noon to get my hands on this fucking game. So I was trying to figure out what I could do to change that, to make it to where I could have the game sooner. I pre-ordered the game from Amazon, the collector's edition. I wanted to pre-order from GameStop, but I went back there to do it and it was too late. It had already been taken up. So I went to Amazon and did it. I must have just beat, the time because I did it in May, like late May, I think. And then right after that, everybody was telling me that you can't find the collector's edition there anymore. Did that, got an email from them telling me that because of the coronavirus and all of that, we're backed up and you're not going to get this collector's edition and you're not going to get it until July 20th, between July 20th and July 29th. That's the window. So I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm not waiting till July to play this game. So I said, fuck. Now I have to wait till Friday at noon. And I just couldn't wait. So the last thing that I did, plan C, if you will, is I fucking drove up to fucking Walmart right at like 6:45 in the morning. And they open at 7. So at 7 o'clock, I went in there and they didn't even have the games out yet. And I was like, I'm here to get The Last of Us 2. The lady basically had to go to the back and get it because they hadn't stocked them yet. So went and got it, gave it to me. And that's how I got the game early Friday morning. With Walmart not being open at all night anymore, I could have went and got it at midnight. But, like I said, coronavirus is kind of fucking up a lot of things, man. The story's not finished, okay? I get the game. I play it for a few hours, right? Then I go take a nap. While I'm asleep, I wake up to an email that tells me, yeah, this is Amazon. Your package has arrived. So on Friday, okay, later that day, around 5:30ish, they tell me that my collector's edition has arrived. So I went up there, did all that shit for nothing. Bought the game for nothing. And I had my collector's edition I could have played on the same day if I was willing to wait, till later that day. And if I knew that, I would have definitely waited. Would it have stung? Yes. But I would have fucking waited. Now, basically what I have to do now is, I have to get rid of the one that I got, which was the basic one from, $60 one from Walmart. And I already have a remedy for that. And then what I did at GameStop is I went in there and told them, well, you know what, take that $5 that I had for my pre-order and put it on Ghost of Tsushima. And the fucked up story, how the crazy thing about that is I was in there telling them to switch it over. And as he was switching it over, the dude behind me, I leave, he gives me my receipt. I start walking out the door. The guy behind me walks up and says, I'm here to pick up The Last of Us 2. And the guy, the clerk asked him, did you pre-order it? And he said, no. And he said, oh, well, your ass is lucky today because he literally got my pre-order. That's the one he got. They had so many people pre-order this game. It's like, he told me like 120 something people that nobody could even go and just buy the game unless you pre-ordered it. So this guy just happened to walk in at the right fucking time and he was able to get my pre-order that I had. that they were holding before he got a game. Because if it wasn't for me, they would tell him, no, we don't have it here. You have to go somewhere else and get it. And by then it would have been a wrap. I'm pretty sure anywhere like Walmart and all them, they were probably going to be gone. Best Buy, gone. This game is crazy popular as far as people buying it. Now, all the people talking shit about it, hey, I don't know what they're doing, but there's motherfuckers buying this shit like hotcakes. Okay. That was just a crazy fucking story of how everything went with The Last of Us 2, man. Just mostly, because I just wanted to play it so bad. When you want to play something so bad and you just can't wait, man, it's just crazy sometimes. Anyway, I got my Last of Us 2 Collector's Edition. It's still sitting nice and pretty in the box. I have to rearrange the man cave a little bit, move some things around to figure out where I want to put it, but it will be here. And I'm going to do like a, video on my YouTube channel soon, man. I'm going to do like a, just a quick, I guess, demonstration, or give you guys a look into the man cave, like what goes down in here, how I do my podcast or whatever, my setup or whatever. I'm going to kind of give you guys something like that. So be looking for that in the next couple weeks or so. I'm going to try to get that done for you guys. Yeah. And anyway, that's my story. Now let's talk a little bit about my first, few hours. And I say few, I actually say more like, 10, 12 hours I have in it. Like I played like damn near 10 hours straight the other day. Okay. And I was just, keep in mind, I wasn't running through the game. Okay. I was literally overly cautious. Okay. Crawling. I was using my hearing all the time. I was checking every room, every fucking drawer, dresser, under the bed. Like I'm doing all this. And also because I don't want to get killed and I don't want to be like, have a heart attack, because it's creepy. It's definitely some creepy vibes to this game. And I love it for that. All I can tell you guys is it everything that I thought it would be up to this point? I'm going to say a yes, a major yes to that. The graphics, A1 steak sauce, A1 fucking steak sauce. The environments, oh my God, this is some of the best environment storytelling, if you will, that I've seen in a game. You can really look around and everything has life to it. It looks lived in. Like, man, it's crazy how lived in this shit is, how it looks, man. It's beautiful. And it's also kind of sad in a sense, how you see stores that are just run down, and you can look in those stores, you can have walks in these houses, and you can tell that, man, whoever was here before, whoever lived here, really loved this house or really loved this shop. And there was even houses that I would pass by and I would say, man, you know what, I would love a house like this. I would love the way that's, the house is built, where it's at, where its location. It just looked real homey at one point. It looked like it could have been there, and just how quickly all that shit, changed when that fateful event happened 25 years ago. Just a beautiful game story so far. I love it, me personally, and I'm going to dive a lot further into that next week, guys. I promise you I am. I'm not going to spoil. I'm not trying to spoil anything here. I want to keep it gangster and definitely not spoil it for people who haven't had a chance quite yet to play it. So next Sunday or next Monday, the podcast will be out, and that one will tell all, and everything, things I didn't like, if there were anything. I mean, I'm going to break everything down. But if you're asking me today, am I pleased? Am I happy with all the money that I spent on The Last of Us 2, for the collector's edition, and just going through there buying this game at Walmart, all this shit, damn near like what, $260. Okay. Yes, I will say that it is fucking worth it to me. Now, I can't speak for everybody else. You know what I mean? I have a lot of friends who have this game. They're playing it now. When I've spoken to them, some of them, they have told me that the game is great. They love it. They're having a great time playing it, and so on and so forth. So, the haters out there, I mean, hey, they can whatever. And like I said, half of these motherfuckers didn't even play the game. More than half, actually, because the game just came out Friday. So everybody that was hating on the game up until, Friday, I mean, I could really give a fuck just because, they didn't play it. Now, I don't have any respect for anybody, or I'm not going to listen to anybody's feelings on the game unless they've played it. If you haven't played it from beginning to end, you might as well be talking to a fucking ghost, because we have nothing to talk about until then. Because what is there to critique? What is there actually to, what is there really what can you really dissect if you have not experienced it? That's my point. Same goes for if you watch somebody, because a lot of people watch game players. A lot of people watch YouTubers play these games from beginning to end, and that's fine too. If you watch the game being played, and if you've played it, until you've done that, you can't talk about anything. Now, if you hate the game, if you played it from beginning to end and hate it, I mean, I have to at least respect that, because you've played the game and you, as a person, for whatever reason, did not, vibe with the game, and that's perfectly 110% cool if that's the way it is. But if you're somebody who's just jumping on a bandwagon and trying to jump on a hate train and talk shit because you see a couple other motherfuckers talking shit about it, and you just want to fucking like on your fucking Twitter account, then you can drink, lots and lots of sake and try to drive yourself home. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, experience it, play it for yourself, guys. And then we can get back and talk. Hopefully you guys can chime in with me next week. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram, or even the Facebook page, and we can talk more about this game, because it's definitely going to be a divisive game. Me personally, I don't understand, why it's so divisive. There's one thing that I guess I can, fathom, but other than that, man, I just don't. And now, like I said, I cannot wait to break into all this next week. And now I understand what these reviewers were talking about when they were trying to talk about the game, but couldn't talk about the whole game. Like, if that makes any sense, because they wanted to talk about so many things, and I haven't even played the whole game yet. And there's some things I want to talk about that I can't, that I don't want to spoil for you guys yet. So it's crazy. It is. But I think you're gonna enjoy the game. I really feel that if you played the first one, if you're a fan of the first game, you owe it to yourself to play this. Okay, you just do. You got to play it. You got to try it out for yourself, man. You got to get back in this world, and you have to. I don't even know. I have no words. I don't even know what to say other than that. But I'm going to finish this podcast. I'm going to wrap this up, and then I'm going to make something to eat real quick, and then I'm going to dive right back in. Okay, because I'm at a point now where shit is getting real. All right, it went from sugar to shit real quick. And if you're talking about the Last of Us universe, it's always pretty much been a shitty world for the most part. But I say that to say this podcast is done now. I want to thank everybody for listening. And if you want to get at me and you want to talk and you want to, and even possibly be a guest on the show, let's make that happen. Let's talk about it. Okay. You can hit me on Twitter at StudioMguyvR. You can also hit me on Instagram at StudioMguyvR79. Check out the Facebook page as well, guys, at StudioMguyvR2, and not number 2 or anything like that. It's at StudioMguyvR. So you can definitely check me out there. And also the YouTube channel, Studio McGyver TV. All right. I'll be doing videos on this. I'll be doing updates. I'll be having discussion videos on this title and more. So definitely follow me there. I've got new content. I usually drop videos 2, 3, 4 times a week on that channel now. So definitely give that a gander. If you're a fan of the podcast, check that out as well. Also, if you're into merch, if you're into nerd culture, if you're into video games, anime type of things, man, definitely hit up Beautiful Nerds. It's www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled Nurdz. They do new shit, new designs monthly, so definitely check them out. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank all of my fans for listening, all the new listeners. Hey, thank you for joining me. I hope to see you again. We do this every Monday morning, so you can check out the podcast then, and it'll be available. You can stream it, all of that shit, man. Okay. I love all my fans. I love all my listeners, guys. Thank you so much for your support. And also, I apologize again for the last week's podcast, the one before the last week where I didn't do one, basically, because I didn't really have shit to talk about, but I gave you guys a 2-hour podcast the week after. And yeah, so definitely be looking out for next week's podcast, guys. I can't stress it enough. If you want to know more about The Last of Us 2, even if you've played the game and you want to hear my thoughts and you want to hear, the discussion that I'm going to have, definitely tune in next week's podcast, because it's going to be a Last of Us 2 podcast, a special, and it's basically just going to be around that game. So check that out. Be looking for that. You can also catch it on YouTube too. It'll be available. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here, guys. This is Studio McGyver, and you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.